welcome back to my channel. I've had a few requests on a step-by-step on how to do the soak off for gel polish manicures, so that's what I'm going to go through today. This process can also be used on acrylic nails, so do keep that in mind as well, that if you do have acrylic nails you can also use the same process. The only difference being is that with the acrylic application you need to file off your gel polish completely to bring it down to that acrylic stage, and then you need to file the acrylic down as thin as you can without sort of getting too close to the nail bed, just to thin out the amount of acrylic on your nail so there's not a lot that actually needs to be soaked off. But I will go through that at the time when we are up to that step. So I've got one hand here that has gel polish on it already. The other hand, I had already done another video which was a different soak off technique. So this is the individual soak off. Now if you have purchased my soak off packs, you will get some of these items in there, and I am going to use the exact same items that you would get in the pack. So we do have the cuticle pusher, which we're going to be using this end here, this flat end. You will get a nail file which looks like this. You will get some cotton swabs which you're going to need to soak into the acetone, and you will also get a small portion of this acetone here. This is salon grade 100% acetone, so this is what you will receive in your packs. Now if you don't have salon grade acetone, that is fine. You can purchase the nail polish remover that you would buy from your local supermarket or chemist, provided that it is not the non-acetone based. You want the one that does have acetone in it. If you do buy the other one, it's not going to work, and I'll actually show you what that one looks like. So this is just one that I picked up from my local supermarket. It says nail polish remover non-acetone. This one would be no good. We want the one that is acetone based, so don't buy this type of nail polish remover. So basically what you're going to do when you have your kit is you're going to want to grab a metal or glass bowl. Don't use plastic because the acetone can melt that. And you're just going to pour your acetone into that bowl. I'm just going to put some in here. And then we're going to set the acetone aside. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nail file. Now what we want to do with the gel polish, now you can, like I said, you can use this same process on acrylics, is you want to remove the shiny layer of the gel polish. Now if you're removing gel polish off of your acrylic manicure, you want to remove all of the shiny as well as all of the color from your acrylic. So you just go in and you want to just file that top surface off, and you can tell where you've filed because it does go a different color, more of a light color. Try not to get this regrowth of your nail here. We don't want to be touching any of the natural nail. We want to purely be focusing on the gel polish that is on here. So you just want to go through and rub all of this off. So I'm going to go through and do that to all 5 nails, I should say, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Once you've filed them all down, just give them a brush off and make sure there are no shiny spots left on there. There are a few that I can see, so I will go back in and attend to those. The other thing you want to do as well is you just want to file just lightly the top of the nail, the free edge of the nail. This will also break any seal that you have there with the gel polish. Most salons will cap the free edge to stop the gel polish from chipping, so you do want to break that seal there as well, and also just go down the side walls of your nail as well. So you will need to pull the skin back and just pop your file down there to make sure you get all of those as well. And like I said, do be careful that you aren't touching the natural nail. You want to make sure that you don't file off too much because you can damage that natural nail with the file. Alrighty, so once you've done that, just brush it off with your hand or use a cloth to wipe it off just so you don't have any excess dust. And what you're going to do is you're going to tear off your cotton, and you're going to want to fold it in half and then in half again. Now if you're removing acrylics, depending on the length of the acrylic will then determine how much you fold this. You may need to only fold it in half once to cover the entire acrylic. If you've just got it over natural nails though, if you fold it into quarters, this will give a decent size to soak off with. So once you've gone down and removed all the shiny surface, if you've got acrylics, make sure you then trim the length of the nail because you don't want to be having to unnecessarily soak the length off because that's just going to take longer to melt the acrylic. So you want to cut the length down as short as possible, trying to not go too far down. So if you flip your hand over and your acrylics are out here but your natural nail is back here, you want to snip the acrylic where your natural nail is so that you don't damage the nail bed by snipping onto that natural nail, which can cause, you know, sort of cracks to your natural nail as well. So once you've done that, you're just going to get your piece of cotton and you're going to soak it in the acetone. Just dip it in and I give it a little squeeze. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cotton, I'm going to place it over the nail, making sure that it covers all of the nail. You don't want to have too much of your skin covered as well, so don't, you know, sort of don't do it like this, because you're covering way too much of the skin that doesn't need to be exposed to the acetone. You just want to cover it over like that. You would then get your alfoil, let's pretend this is alfoil, and you would go around like this, tucking it all under and then over the top. And then the alfoil would just sit there and you would leave it soaking for 10 to 15 minutes once you've done all the nails. But unfortunately I don't have my alfoil here, so I'm just going to show you with my little finger presses that I have. So you would apply it on, you would then apply your alfoil. Let's pretend this is alfoil. And then you'd let all 5 nails sit. And it's best to do 5 at a time, not all 10, because you're going to need your hand to be able to scrape the polish off. So we'll let that, I'll do all the others, we'll let that sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then we'll come back and I'll show you what it should look like once it starts to lift. Okay, so I've had my nails soaking for about 10 minutes now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these off individually. You don't want to pull them off all at once, because what actually happens is once the air hits the nails after they've been soaking, it then causes the acrylic or the gel polish to set again, and then you're going to have to re-soak it. So you do want to do these one at a time. So I'm going to remove this clip. In your instance, you're going to obviously remove the foil. Now don't throw that away just yet, because you may need to do a double soak. So just keep it to the side until you know that you're definitely not going to need it anymore. So I've pulled that off, and this is what it looks like. It doesn't actually look like it's done much, so we're just going to have a quick look to see whether we can I'm just scraping it with the side of this cuticle pusher, and you can see that it is slowly coming away from the nail, which is what you want. So you just want to go over the entire nail like this. Now I'm using my non-dominant hand, so it is always harder when you're trying to use your non-dominant hand to do things. So what I'm going to do is, this needs to be soaked longer. I'm going to pop my cotton back into the acetone. I'm going to place it back over the nail, and then you're going to want to re-wrap it with the alfoil. You can use the same alfoil that you used previously, and just repeat the process for each nail. Alright, so I'm going to re-soak them again for another 10 minutes and then we're going to check them afterwards. Okay, so these have been soaking for another 10 minutes, so I am going to remove the thumb first again. So once you've soaked that all off, what you want to do is you want to then get the small buffer that I've included in the pack. If you didn't buy the pack from me, you just want to get a buffer or a file that has a very soft grit to it, because you are going to be using this on the natural nail. So what you then want to do is you just want to go over and you're just going to remove any of those excess bits of colour that may still be there. You're doing this very lightly, just to remove any remainder gel polish that's there. Let's check this thumb one last time. This last little bit looks to be very stubborn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my buffer. I'm going to buff the natural nail, going over that gel polish that is still stuck on there. And then I'm going to pop this back on and soak it for a few more minutes. And while that's soaking, you can go in and apply your cuticle oil, which I've also included in the packs. If you don't have cuticle oil, you can just use a good hand moisturiser. And this is just to add some moisture back into your cuticles and your nail beds, because obviously we have just been soaking them and playing around with them with files and things like that, so we do want to add some moisture back in. Just rub that in. Let's check this thumb. There we go. Just go over with the buffer. And apply the cuticle oil. And that's it. We're all done. Now what you do want to do is, if you do have any leftover acetone like I've got here, please do not throw this down the drain. This you should not dispose of acetone that way. What you want to do is you just want to grab some paper towels, you want to bunch them up, and you want to soak up whatever's left over in there. You may need to use 2 just to get everything. And then dispose of this in the garbage.